Hey everyone, I'm Katie and I wanted to make a little video because I know I'm connecting with so many people online and I always like to hear people's stories and kind of what they've been through and how they ended up where they are now. So, as a kid, starting actually from the age of 2, I grew up dancing, was literally obsessed, like took ballet, jazz, hip hop, all of it, and that was my whole life. I was just always at the dance studio, always performing. I was in a company where we would do Nutcracker and things like that. So I love that so much, and I danced all the way through high school, and when I went off to college, I actually found myself going to the fitness center, which I guess as a college student people thought was super weird. And I was so used to moving my body every single day that I had to do something, and I didn't know a lot about exercise and fitness routines and whatnot, but I started to do some of the Group X classes and like my own thing, and I was like, this is really fun. It was actually my school counselor that was like, there's something called exercise science. I think that you might really like it. It sounds like you're into exercise. And at that time, I actually was really struggling with my autoimmune disease. I have Hashimoto's, and I was struggling with my weight a little bit. I just had really negative body image, I think, from growing up a dancer. That was just a lot of pressure to be perfect. And obviously genetics and other things play a role in my autoimmune disease. And I always just felt like I wasn't skinny enough, wasn't good enough, wasn't pretty enough. And even though I had a lot of great things going for me, I didn't know what self-love was. So because I was struggling in that area, you guys, I actually used to chew my food and spit it out so that I could have, the taste of the food without the calories. And I didn't even realize how messed up that was. I was just kind of like stuck in this place where I was stressed out about my body, and I kept wanting to look like someone else and to feel like someone else. So even though I started to study exercise science, I actually was really struggling with myself still. And I think that my interest kind of started in me trying to figure my own shit out. And I actually decided to minor in dance too because I missed it so much. And eventually, I think it was my junior year summer, I told my mom about what I had been doing. And I was like, I just am so unhappy. I feel like stressed out about my body, and I know that this isn't normal eating habits. And so I got some help, and from then, things got a lot better. I learned how to fuel my body. I started to, love myself more. I started to get my weight under control, and then I was a trainer. And I moved to Chicago. I worked for a big corporate wellness company as a trainer, teaching classes and one-on-one, and that was so fun, and I learned a lot during that time. I actually then got promoted to be manager of a fitness center, which wasn't really my jam. I didn't like dealing with the complaints. I didn't like dealing with, equipment, and there was actually someone that I had to work with that I really didn't like, which is kind of rare. So that wasn't my jam. I loved my clients and whatever, but I knew that I didn't want to do that forever. And at that point, someone that I actually had been teaching a Group X class to, his wife was involved with the company that I now partner with. And I had no idea that this whole other world existed. I had heard of a couple of like the older fitness programs, but that was it. I didn't know there was a business opportunity there or anything. Around this time, I met my husband, and I started to think, about the future. And I'm like, wow, we want to have kids. I don't want to be at a gym for 10 hours a day, especially because I wasn't even fully happy as a manager, and it wasn't that much money. And I'm like, this is just not going to be worth it with daycare and everything. So I started to get more into this other business opportunity, and it really turned around when I went to an in-person event. I feel like the light bulb went off, and I was just like, whoa. This is incredible. This has so much potential. I have the same values and beliefs as this company. I love the products and the programs. I love that I can work anytime, anywhere. There's so much potential. And I just got more and more into it. And I eventually ended up leaving my corporate job. Now, also during this time, one of the vital behaviors as a coach is to do personal development. And I started working on my mind so much. I had kind of gotten my body under control, but now it's like I was listening to these podcasts and these YouTube leaders, and I was reading all these books, and I realized that I started to really change and transform, and I was just growing and I was learning, and it made me feel so alive and excited. And I was just kind of reflecting back, it's been about 10 years that I've been into health and fitness and wellness, and I'm like, wow, this is just the healthiest and the happiest that I've ever been. And I've really turned things around from 10 years ago, and it's really sprung into my passion now to help other people that are struggling. So I do everything online. I have private support and accountability groups, and we talk every single day, and it's been my biggest passion yet. I really like to talk about the mindset part of everything too, because I know how transformational that is. So a little bit about me.